Letting go is one of the simplest ideas in life, yet it is also one of the hardest things for people to truly understand and practice. Most people spend their days trying to control outcomes, thinking about the future again and again, and worrying about when their desires will finally come true. But deep inside, there is always a quiet truth waiting to be remembered. Life does not respond to force. Life responds to trust, to ease, and to the energy of allowing. If you are here right now, it may be because you are tired. Tired of waiting. Tired of overthinking. Tired of trying so hard to make things happen. And in this moment, you need to hear something very important. You are not behind in life. You are not missing anything. And you are not being ignored by the universe. What you are experiencing is simply a reminder that holding on too tightly is not the way forward. Letting go does not mean you stop caring about your dreams. It does not mean you give up or lose hope. Instead, it means you stop forcing life to move at your speed. It means you trust that what is meant for you will come at the right time, in the right way, without struggle or stress. When you let go, you are not losing control. You are actually gaining peace. And from that peace, everything begins to shift naturally. The truth is, many of the things you desire are not far away from you. But the energy of worry, fear, and constant checking can make them feel distant. It is like trying to grab water with closed fists. The tighter you hold, the more it slips away. But when you relax your hands, everything becomes easier, softer, and more natural. This video is a gentle reminder for you to breathe again, to slow down your thoughts, to release the pressure you have placed on yourself. Life is not asking you to figure everything out right now. Life is simply asking you to trust a little more, to allow a little more, and to believe that things are already working in your favor, even if you cannot see it yet. Right now, you don't need to chase. You don't need to force. You don't need to control every detail of your future. Instead, you only need to understand one simple truth. When you let go, you create space. And in that space, life begins to flow toward you in ways you never expected. So as you move through this message, allow yourself to soften. Let this be a moment where you stop fighting and start trusting. Because when you truly let go, everything you are meant to have begins to find its way to you. Most people do not realize how tightly they are holding on to their desires, their expectations, and even their fears. It often starts very quietly. You want something badly in your life, and at first it feels exciting, but slowly that excitement turns into pressure. You start thinking about it all the time. You start checking for signs, looking for results, and wondering when it will finally happen. Without even noticing, your desire turns into stress. The reason we hold on so tightly is because of fear. Deep inside, there is a fear that if we don't control things, they will not happen the way we want. There is also fear that time is running out, or that maybe we are not good enough to receive what we desire. These thoughts are not always loud, but they stay in the background of the mind and influence everything we do. Another reason is impatience. In today's world, everything feels fast. People want quick answers, quick results, and quick success. So when life does not move at the same speed, the mind starts to panic. It starts to push harder, think harder, and try harder. But in that pushing, something very important gets lost: peace. We also hold on tightly because we believe that constant thinking can somehow make things happen faster. We think that if we worry enough, plan enough, or analyze enough, we can control the outcome. But in reality, overthinking does not create results. It only creates tension, and that tension blocks the natural flow of life. There is also emotional attachment. When you deeply want something, your emotions become tied to it. You start imagining your happiness only after that thing arrives. So without it, you feel incomplete. This creates a feeling of lack, and that feeling makes you hold on even tighter, as if life depends on it. But here is something very important to understand. Holding on tightly does not bring things closer. It actually creates resistance. It sends a message of need instead of trust. And the more you focus on needing something urgently, the more distant it can feel. Life works better in a state of ease, not pressure. The mind feels clearer when it is calm. The heart feels lighter when it is not constantly chasing. And in that calm space, things begin to align in ways you could not plan or force. So when you understand why you are holding on so tightly, you also begin to understand something powerful. It is not because you are weak. It is because you care deeply. But now, it is time to learn a new way. One that brings you peace instead of pressure. Many people believe that if they try hard enough, think enough, and plan every detail, they can control how life will unfold. It feels safe to think this way. It gives a sense of power, like nothing can go wrong if everything is managed perfectly. But in reality, this is only an illusion. Life is far more complex and unpredictable than the mind can fully control. The truth is, we can influence some parts of life, but we cannot control everything. We cannot control timing. We cannot control how others behave. We cannot control every outcome, no matter how carefully we plan. And when we try to do so, we often end up feeling frustrated, tired, and disappointed. This illusion of control comes from the mind's need for safety. The mind thinks, if I control everything, nothing will go wrong. But life does not work in such a fixed way. Even when we plan perfectly, unexpected changes always happen. And instead of breaking us, these changes often guide us toward better paths we never imagined. When you try to control everything, you put heavy pressure on yourself. You start feeling like you must make everything happen on your own. This creates stress in the mind and tightness in the heart. Slowly, life stops feeling natural and starts feeling like a constant struggle. Another problem with control is that it makes you focus only on one specific outcome. You become so attached to one way of how things should happen that you miss other possibilities. but life often brings blessings in different forms, not always in the exact way we expect. Letting go of control does not mean giving up responsibility. It means accepting that you are not meant to carry everything alone. It means doing your best and then allowing life to do the rest. There is a difference between action and attachment. Action is healthy. Attachment creates suffering. When you release the need to control everything, something beautiful starts to happen. Your mind becomes lighter. Your thoughts become calmer. You begin to notice opportunities that were always there, but hidden by stress and overthinking. Life starts to feel less like a battle and more like a flow. The illusion of control keeps you tense, but trust brings you peace. And in that peace, life begins to move in ways that feel more natural, more aligned, and more supportive than anything you could force. Letting go is a phrase many people hear, but very few truly understand. Most people think letting go means giving up on their dreams or stopping their efforts. But that is not the truth. Letting go is not about quitting. It is about releasing the heavy emotional pressure that you carry while waiting for something to happen. To truly let go means you stop forcing life to move in a certain direction. It means you stop constantly checking, worrying, and overthinking about when and how your desire will appear. You still care about your dreams, but you no longer suffer while waiting for them. You begin to trust that life is already working behind the scenes for you. Letting go is not something you do with your hands. It is something you do with your mind and heart. It is an inner shift. It is the moment when you decide, I will do my part, and I will allow life to do its part. This simple shift changes everything in your energy. When you are attached to an outcome, your mind stays tense. You keep replaying thoughts like, what if it doesn't happen? Or why is it taking so long? These thoughts create stress inside you, even if nothing outside has changed. Letting go removes this inner struggle. It is important to understand that letting go does not mean you stop taking action. You still move forward in your life. You still work toward your goals. But you no longer tie your happiness to the outcome. You stop believing that your peace depends on one specific result. True letting go feels like relief. It feels like putting down a heavy bag you have been carrying for too long. At first, you may not even realize how heavy it was. But once you release it, you start to feel lighter, calmer, and more present in your life. When you let go, you are not disconnecting from your desires. You are reconnecting with trust. You begin to believe that what is meant for you will not miss you. It will arrive at the right time without struggle or force. This is the real meaning of letting go. It is choosing peace over pressure. It is choosing trust over fear. And in that space of trust, life begins to move toward you in a more natural and effortless way. The law of attraction works best when your energy is calm, clear, and open. But many people unknowingly block their own desires by holding on too tightly. When you constantly think about what you want with stress, worry, or impatience, you are not sending a message of trust. You are sending a message of lack. And that feeling of lack creates resistance instead of flow. Letting go changes your energy completely. When you release attachment, your mind becomes lighter. You stop focusing on when it will happen and start trusting that it is already on its way. This shift is very powerful because the law of attraction responds more to your emotional state than your thoughts alone. When you are attached, your energy feels heavy. You are always checking, waiting, and hoping, but hope mixed with fear creates imbalance. It says, I want this, but I don't believe it will come. This confusion in energy slows things down because what you are feeling is not full trust. But when you let go, something beautiful happens inside you. You begin to feel peaceful even before your desire arrives. You start living your life without depending on one outcome for happiness. This is the state of alignment. And in this state, you are no longer resisting your desire. You are allowing it. The law of attraction does not respond to desperation. It responds to clarity and belief, and letting go creates both. When you are no longer obsessed with how or when something will happen, you naturally create space for it to come in the right way. Think of it like planting a seed. After you plant it, you do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust the process. You water it, you care for it, and then you allow nature to do its work. Letting go is the same. You do your part, and then you trust life to handle the rest. When you truly let go, you are not disconnecting from your desires. You are connecting to a higher level of trust, and in that trust, you align with the natural flow of life. This is where manifestation becomes effortless, because you are no longer blocking it with doubt or fear. So letting go is not the end of desire. It is the beginning of alignment. When you start to let go and truly trust life, something begins to change quietly inside you. It is not an external change at first, but an emotional one. You begin to feel lighter, calmer, and less controlled by your thoughts. The constant pressure you used to carry slowly starts to fade away. Before this shift, your mind may have been full of questions. When will it happen? Why is it not here yet? What am I doing wrong? These thoughts create tension in your body and stress in your heart. But when you begin to trust life, those questions start to lose their power over you. Trusting life does not mean everything becomes perfect instantly. It means you stop fighting with what is already happening. You begin to accept the present moment instead of resisting it. And in that acceptance, your emotional weight becomes lighter. One of the first feelings you notice is peace. Not because everything has changed outside, but because something has changed inside you. You are no longer in a constant state of waiting and worrying. You begin to feel okay even in uncertainty. And this is a powerful emotional shift. Another feeling that comes with trust is patience. But this is not forced patience. It is a natural patience that comes from understanding that life has its own timing. You stop rushing everything. You stop trying to force answers. You start allowing things to unfold step by step. As this trust grows, anxiety starts to reduce. You no longer feel the need to control every outcome in your mind. Your thoughts become softer. Your inner world becomes quieter. And in that quiet space, you begin to hear yourself more clearly. You may also notice that your energy changes. You become less reactive. Things that used to upset you do not affect you as deeply anymore. This is because trust creates emotional stability. You are no longer depending on outcomes to feel okay. The most beautiful part of this shift is that you start feeling more present. Instead of living in the future, you begin to live in your now. You notice small moments again. You breathe more freely. You feel more connected to life itself. Trusting life does not remove challenges, but it changes how you experience them. You stop seeing life as something against you and start seeing it as something guiding you. And in that emotional shift, everything begins to feel easier, softer, and more peaceful from within. Many people try to let go, but they do it in the wrong way without realizing it. Because of this, they feel confused when nothing seems to change in their life. They think they are letting go, but in reality, they are still holding on in a hidden form. Understanding these mistakes can help you truly release what is blocking you. One of the most common mistakes is pretending not to care. Some people think letting go means acting like they don't want something anymore. So they force themselves to feel careless or disconnected. But deep inside, they still want it badly. This creates inner conflict because the mind and heart are not in harmony. Another mistake is forcing positive thoughts. People try to repeat affirmations or think positively, but at the same time, they are filled with doubt and fear. They are trying to cover their anxiety instead of healing it. This does not create real letting go. It only hides the stress for a short time. Many people also mistake letting go for giving up. They stop taking action and think they are surrendering. But true letting go is not about stopping effort. It is about stopping attachment to the result. You still move forward in life, but you are not emotionally tied to how or when things should happen. Another big mistake is checking results again and again. People say they have let go, but they keep looking for signs, updates, or quick changes. This constant checking shows that the mind is still attached. Real letting go does not need proof every day. Some people also believe letting go should bring instant results. When nothing changes quickly, they become frustrated and return to overthinking. But letting go is not a tool for speed. It is a shift in energy, and energy changes take time to settle. There is also the mistake of emotional resistance. Even when people try to be calm, they still feel inner tension. They may say, "I trust life," but inside, they are still worried. This hidden resistance slows down the process because the real feeling is still fear, not trust. The most important thing to understand is this: letting go is not about doing something perfectly. It is about becoming aware of your attachment and gently releasing it again and again. It is a practice, not a one-time action. When you stop making these mistakes, letting go becomes more natural. You stop forcing it and start living it. And slowly, your energy begins to align with peace instead of pressure. Letting go is not something you do only once. It is something you practice every day in small and simple ways. It is not about making big changes in your life overnight. It is about changing how you think, how you react, and how you handle your emotions in everyday moments. One of the first ways to practice letting go is to become aware of your thoughts. Notice when you are overthinking or worrying about something you cannot control. Instead of feeding those thoughts, gently bring your attention back to the present moment. You do not need to fight your thoughts. You only need to observe them and release them. Another simple practice is to stop checking and waiting constantly. If you have a desire, allow it to exist without needing updates every moment. When you stop repeatedly asking when it will happen, your mind slowly learns to relax. This helps you build trust in the process of life. You can also practice letting go by focusing on what you can do today instead of what will happen in the future. Many people suffer because they live too much in the future. But life only happens in the present. When you give your attention to today, your mind naturally becomes calmer. Another important practice is to release control in small situations. For example, if something does not go exactly as planned, instead of reacting with stress, you can pause and accept it. You can remind yourself that not everything needs your control. Some things are meant to unfold on their own. You can also practice letting go of your emotions. When you feel anxious or impatient, do not suppress those feelings. Instead, acknowledge them. Say to yourself that it is okay to feel this way, but you do not need to stay in that state. Slowly, allow the emotion to pass without holding on to it. Gratitude is another powerful way to let go. When you focus on what is already good in your life, your mind stops clinging so tightly to what is missing. Gratitude shifts your energy from lack to appreciation, and this makes it easier to trust life. Most importantly, remind yourself often that you are not alone in this process. Life is always supporting you, even when things feel uncertain. You do not have to figure out everything at once. You only need to take one calm step at a time. When you practice letting go daily, it slowly becomes your natural state. And from that state, life begins to feel lighter, easier, and more aligned with peace. When you truly reach the point of surrender, your entire experience of life begins to change in a deep and quiet way. It is not something loud or dramatic. It is a gentle inner shift where you stop fighting with life and start flowing with it. You no longer feel the need to push every situation or force every outcome. One of the first things you notice when you fully surrender is a deep sense of relief. The weight you have been carrying in your mind starts to disappear. You stop repeating the same stressful thoughts over and over again. Instead of living in pressure, you begin to feel a natural calmness inside you. When you surrender, you also stop resisting the present moment. Even if things are not perfect, you are no longer arguing with reality. You accept what is happening without constantly trying to change it in your mind. This acceptance brings a soft peace that you may not have felt in a long time. Another beautiful change is that you begin to trust timing. You stop rushing life. You stop asking why things are late or why they are not here yet. Instead, you begin to believe that everything is unfolding in its own perfect timing. This trust removes a lot of emotional suffering from your daily life. When you fully surrender, your energy becomes lighter. You are no longer attached to one specific way things must happen. You become open to different possibilities. And because of this openness, life starts showing you solutions and opportunities that you were not able to see before. You also start feeling more emotionally balanced. Things that used to disturb you deeply no longer have the same effect. You become less reactive and more peaceful inside. This does not mean problems disappear, but your reaction to them changes completely. Surrender also brings a quiet confidence. It is not the confidence of control, but the confidence of trust. You start believing that no matter what happens, you will be guided in the right direction. This feeling makes you stronger in a very calm and grounded way. The most powerful part of surrender is that you stop chasing life and life starts meeting you halfway. Things begin to align in a more natural flow. You feel less resistance and more ease in everything you do. When you fully surrender, you realize that you were never meant to carry everything alone. Life was always working with you. And in that realization, you finally experience a deeper peace within yourself. Now, as we come to the end of this message, take a moment to bring everything together in your mind. Letting go is not about losing control. It is about gaining peace. It is not about giving up on your dreams. It is about trusting that your dreams are already moving toward you in the right time and the right way. You do not need to force life. You do not need to chase everything endlessly. You only need to trust a little more each day. Trust that what is meant for you will not miss you. Trust that even when you cannot see progress, life is still working behind the scenes in your favor. When you stop holding on too tightly, you create space for things to enter your life. That space is where peace grows. That space is where clarity returns. And that space is where your desires can finally flow toward you without resistance. Remember, life responds to your energy. When your energy is calm, open, and trusting, everything begins to feel lighter and more aligned. You do not have to have all the answers today. You only need to stay open and allow life to unfold step by step. So today, choose to release the pressure. Choose to release the fear. Choose to release the need to control everything. And instead, choose trust. Choose peace. Choose surrender. Because when you truly let go, you are not losing anything. You are allowing everything that is meant for you to finally find its way into your life. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and comment your thoughts below. And if you want more calming and powerful messages like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel.